to secure an income earning asset for yourself. So don't feel that this conversation is only for Mr. Gore and Mr. Matalan, the big developers. Someone could do 6 apartments, 4 apartments. If you're doing that, you still need to get yourself on the grid.
Yeah.
So I want you to listen carefully and understand that a product is coming forward that could be a blessing to you. But I know how you're suspicious of everything, and especially JPS, you start to think, now this must be some way to blight my future. So I want you to address, how are you structuring it so that it becomes a trustworthy environment?
All right. So the first thing is that the application itself, it's a professional application for professionals, persons who are actively doing designs. And right now, for example, someone who is doing a building design, he's using a similar platform which is not connected to our electrical platform.
I see.
The person who is doing a water design, more than likely is using a similar platform.
A layer of it.
A layer of it. So if you want to look on it, that if you have, let's say you have using iOS. iOS is the platform,
operating system,
and everything is an app running on it.
Yes.
Right? So it's seamless to the operations. Some of the apps borrow things that they need from other
each
apps
other
to work.
Yes.
Right? So that when I say we're putting in the platform, it's not anything that is novel and new. It exists out there. However,
it's like a meeting place, really.
It's like a meeting place. So, but everything will be connected together, visualized together, and that's where you get the collaboration, right? So
I challenged you to have just an exchange with me on what we mean when we say ecosystem. You too.
Can I tell you something, my brother? This is a very interesting and necessary discussion. I know time does not permit us to get deeper into it, so I know we must have a part 2. Because you can realize that you have excited us.
Yes, I'm happy for that.
We believe in the technology, we believe in efficiency, and that's what you're doing.
Yes.
And certainly we see that Jamaica needs it. Because the and I know that the development that we're seeing now will not slow down. So it means that the time has come for this.
For someone to take this kind of bold move. And the truth is, you're well placed for it because everybody needs power, and you're not in development yourself. Because one of the issues with trust is, you know, you put your idea to somebody, and before you know it, his uncle or his brother or his nephew is using your idea. So there's always that reluctance. But the way you're doing it, JPS itself does not invest in real estate.
No.
You're not a developer.
No.
But beyond that, to enter information into your platform is kind of anonymous in the sense that I wouldn't necessarily know that this is from Lowell or this is from Ricardo. Only the professionals who get on it would look for whatever it is they're looking for.
Exactly. So we're talking about persons in like architects, other engineers.
And if you trust your architect to do the design, you must can trust him to interact with that system.
Let us do it.
He's getting to be the producer now.
Yes, our time is ended, but we need a part 2 because we touch on another area that you need to look at. I'm not sure if it is being considered even deeper than what she has mentioned, and it is the whole business of data protection.
Yes.
Because when you set up a platform, it means that you have invited somebody onto something that you own. You have an obligation to ensure that that data is kept safe.
Yes.
So those are issues that we need to look at.
And you know, it's entirely feasible that I could pull out of your system a fully constructed, designed and tested
but that's what
development.
That's what
but I wouldn't have paid the architect or the mechanical engineer.
And those are some of the
I
things
would just need to go and build it.
So low-code software is where the future is. You know, so if you can put the Lego pieces together and get a beautiful thing at the end.
Right, I don't.
You have all the tools to do it.
We applaud you for it. As you say, it's not novel. It's there, but you have brought it into our ecosystem. And it certainly is a game changer. You know, and that is what we need. So we applaud it.
Thank you so much.
Well, you know, we could be continuing for a while, but the producer has pulled the plug. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I love the work that you're doing, and I do hope that policies will allow JPS to be even bolder in
Yes.
some of the moves that you take to bring development to the nation.
Yes.
And well, I endorse that, and I said, let us talk again very
course,
soon to
of
continue
course.
this discussion.
Of course.
Because I know that there's more that you would like
A
to
whole
share.
lot
Yeah.
more. A whole lot more.
It does need more time.
It needs a whole
All right,
lot
what
more
are you
time.
going to leave us with then? Because I
Yes.
don't want to
Yes.
leave you pregnant.
Okay, so
Deliver something.
so the other thing is that we have more forums coming up.
Aha.
So early January, we're going to have a forum on the renewable energy, specifically on the self-generators.
Now you touch Lowell's sweet spot.
Self-generators. So that one will bring all the stakeholders in the ministry,
Yes.
persons who are installing, solar installers, bank financial people, people who are lending money to persons to put in
Those
solar
renewable
systems and whatnot. So we're gonna bring
Yeah.
all of that in, demystify it, collaborate, create that same collaboration space
when you say
early
January.
Early January.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
so happy that we're
So they'll
part
do
of it.
solar and wind or
Solar,
well,
wind,
whatever, anything,
anything.
hydro,
All renewables.
all
All renewables.
renewables.
Excellent.
What's
Yeah.
that one that they get from Kinway? Biogas.
Mhm.
Anything
Yeah.
that will create. Well,
Yeah,
all right,
but
sir.
specifically on
Yeah.
the self-generating.
Self-generating side,
You
yes.
at your place of business
Yes, man.
or home.
Using my whatever.
Yes.
Yes.
And one day, I guess JPS is gonna tackle the dump.
The dump is being tackled.
Oh, jeez. All right, you really have to come back. Goodbye, sir.
Okay.
You're chock full of
Yes, it
of
is.
fluff.
Well, we're working on the future. I told
Yes.
you already. So.
No,
Yeah.
and that's good. And people need to know.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
As you say, they only
Please.
see you in one light.
In one light, pun intended.
I like it.
Please tell Miss Winsome that we would like to have a
Definitely.
full conversation on the future. And what, we've been looking at the waste, the dump, Riverton, and everybody been eyeing it and saying, this is a treasure
So I'm
sitting there.
proposing. Let us do
Yeah.
this. Let us get an hour.
Sure.
Talk
Yeah.
to some of the
Sure.
One of
fill
these
out
mornings.
Just an
Yeah.
extended
I
slide.
love talking about the future. So
Yeah.
we'll probably need a day.
We want to record all of it, and you're buying lunch.
I don't have no problem with that. As long as they have Aki and Saki.
That's all.
All right.
You're at
This
the
is
right
land
place. Thank you very much.
right,
So
my
our
brother.
guest has been
a
Mr.
pleasure.
Ricardo Case, and you see, this discussion could have continued for an even longer time, and maybe some of you are desiring it. But we're going to set it up properly and advertise it somewhat,
Yes.
so that persons who have an interest, you can bring others in to hear it. It's very important. We're planning for the future, and our source of energy and how we manage that is important. Whether you can afford to pay a light bill or not, conservation and efficiency are the order of the day. So, for a brighter Jamaica, this is where we are. So thank you, Mr. Case. Have a beautiful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Now to you, Mr. Lawrence.
Yes.
I know you're a big technology man. I wanted
see you
to.
getting excited too.
Oh, yes, because I love,
It's
first, I love collaboration.
yes.
So anything that gets people to work together. We named our company Symbiote because we couldn't get the English translated word. But anything that builds on how interdependent relationship brings growth and prosperity, we love that. Because we're kingdom-minded people. And this is what our Father designed us to work in that way. Christ, when he was here, he sent people out 2 by 2. And his group was a group of 12. And then what he has said to us is, disciple nations, teach people to live in community and to bring prosperity to each other. So everything about what God wants for us is embedded in that whole principle of collaboration
It's about
and partnership.
relationships.
Well, relationship. Yes.
We don't get it. So those of us who are running around thinking that the world revolves around us and we are it. Listen, you can't be it unless you have someone else. There's an interdependence among the human race that you
Has to
cannot
be.
ignore.
Yeah.
If you try to ignore it, you're hurting yourself. And we need to understand.
I'm going to go back to page 1 of my notes.
Again, I just want to say once more that we do appreciate what JPS is doing. And I'm so happy that they take the time out to come and share with us and inform the public of who they are and what they are doing. And it is important that other companies do the same thing. you know, so that people can see you for who you really are. I know some people get a bad rap simply because people don't have information.
Well, if we're
Very
lucky,
important.
if we are lucky, the spirit of competition will kick in and
Will-
they'll
will
see
bring it out.
JPS doing it. And because the idea that it will be done from the heart because persons feel such love for one another. We don't think you're there yet,
Yeah.
but we know that you have the competitive
What is
spirit,
it? Imitation is
the highest form of flattery.
flattery.
And we love to do that. If a man set up a stall and start to sell mangoes, two or
Mm.
three people come beside him to sell mangoes. It's not because they love him and think that mangoes are great. They just see that he's doing it and it look like it's working,
And maybe
and
he
they
sell
want
it.
to imitate. They imitate. No, you know, you would not see somebody say, you know what? I'm gonna set up a smoothie bar beside him and just make mango
There you
smoothies.
go, the
So after
byproduct.
you buy the
Yes.
mango down there, you just come down here and smoothie or a salad. I'm
And
your
when the man
guy.
can't sell him mango, him just pass it right over to the
Right,
next
when the
stall.
mango, there you go.
You know, it
We
is-
don't work like
is-
that.
That is so,
We don't work like
interesting
that.
you say that.
Yeah.
Because you see it happen all the time.
All the
You
time.
see one person here with all them fruits spoiling.
Yes.
You know?
And
him
yet
him
somebody
still
go
are reduce the
beside him.
price, you know. Him still try
And
to
somebody will
sell
go
it.
beside him selling the
And
same
somebody
fruit.
will go, yeah.
Or you're at crab circle and everybody's
We don't
selling
learn
crab
to
and
work
corn.
together. We don't learn to work in a complementary
You know,
way.
yeah. That's why I wanted to talk about ecosystems. So I didn't get to
Yes.
talk about it with Ricardo, but I sure can talk about it with you.
Yes.
It became the buzzword from the start. Talk about green environment and technology. Ecosystem has its heyday. Well, no, it's still having a heyday, but everybody wanted to be part of an ecosystem.
Yes.
Understanding that when it is a system, it takes out the kind of personal human element
Right.
because systems emerge and
Yes.
function in an organic way. And recognizing that whether you say the eco relates to ecology or it relates to economy,
Right.
you know that it is a place where partnerships must exist in order for you to function. So we've been talking about tourism as an ecosystem, agriculture as being an ecosystem. Everything we have been labeling it as an ecosystem, hoping, I think, to teach people that interdependence is an integral part of success
You know,
and to reduce competition, to reduce harmful competition, and keep only the competition that promotes efficiency and diversity.
yes. It is one of the things I find is that people will hear all of these buzzwords.
The buzzwords.
We will say
Let
them
me
and
look
they
for-
understand what it means, but what they don't understand is how do I fit? Where do I fit?
Where
into
am I in
this?
the ecosystem?
Yes, where
Am
is
I,
my, because I mean it's
am I
so, so
the-
big and so important. They might say, well, boy, my business is not that big. I'm not as educated, and they don't see themselves as a part of it.
of it?
And we need to
And
let
the-
our public know how you fit within that ecosystem because everybody have a role to play.
But the beauty
So
of
show
it
it to
is
me,
that
you know? How do I fit? So that people will embrace it. Because a part of it, you know, if you don't have people embracing it, then the system is going to fail. Because the man don't think that it is necessary to come and clean the floor. You know? and so on and so forth. It's important that these things are discussed.
Earl Brown said crab and circle are two forbidden words.
Crab and circle.
Some people are still hurting. I've never shopped at crab circles. Oh, dear.
Lord,
All right, so I went and I just pulled up a simple definition of ecosystem.
Yes,
A biological community. Of course, you know, bio means life.
yes.
And whenever you see logi or logi, like the logos, anywhere you see it, you know, it involves a study of whatever the subject matter is.
Yes.
So anyway, it's a biological community of interacting organisms and their physical environment. That is like a simple definition of ecosystem.
Oh, that's a simple definition.
Yes, it's
Don't give us
short.
the complex one, please.
Meaning it's short. It's short. But
Yeah.
there's a part of it that I think everybody, not everybody, we are not living it,
Yes.
the meaning of that word, or maybe we're a dysfunctional ecosystem because I was saying too that ecosystems emerge because there's a logical flow that is organic.
Yeah.
That's why it talks about organisms. It's not manufactured. You can't create an ecosystem. An ecosystem emerges through the natural interaction of the elements in that environment. So if you and I live together, a system is going to emerge out of what we do normally, naturally. And if it is a corrosive system, it will self-destruct. That's why people divorce. If it is harmonious,
if you were
then, you know, we prosper and live long.
if you were to give it a more simplified term so that the
Instead of
layman out there
ecosystem?
yes, what would you call it? And by the way, Mr. Case
Did I call
has
it
not
live?
left us, so he can join in the discussion
Your bank is still live.
if he wish. We can, it's up to him.
How would you define
But,
ecosystem?
how would you define
Okay, so
ecosystem?
my dear Director
don't
of
use that fancy
Communications,
term.
Winsome, Mr. Case is now just chatting with me, and we won't talk about anything company related. How would you define ecosystem as an engineer?
It's the interconnectedness of things.
Sounds like internet.
Interconnected
Of things. It
Yeah.
sounds that way, but
IoT.
I was listening. No, no.
Oh,
no,
what
not
happened to
necessarily.
Mr. Case,
No,
if it's
not
not a
necess-
problem for you, come back, Jack.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Let me
Come
put
into the
this
conversation.
Yeah,
How would you define? I love interconnectedness of things,
of things.
which the internet
IoT.
people borrowed to
Yeah.
do IoT.
Right.
But it is exactly that.
But that really is what the
That's what it
ecosystem
is.
is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is a relationship, just like what you said. What I disagreed with on is the
The corrosive
even corrosive ones.
It's still a still a system.
Still a system.
Of course, that's what I was. That's why
It's
I
still
said.
a system,
But that
and it's
system
functional.
and that system has an endpoint.
It has an endpoint
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
has a
So-
purpose.
And a
I am
purpose.
gonna go back
Lawyers
exactly
make money
to
when
where
people
I went earlier. The man, the simple man, and I'm not gonna describe a person because I don't want anybody to think I'm,
Yeah,
but this-
undermining.
the man who might not be able to grasp these terms.
Like when I say a
What
biological
would you say that
community,
would get his attention and say yes?
So
Speaking to me, there's
you
something.
don't think the interconnectedness of things do it?
because the interconnectedness
That
is
word.
a big word.
all right.
I think
so,
Lowell
so,
will have
so
to
this
give
is
us that.
this is
that
how I would
phraseology.
this is how I'd boil it down. I would
Yeah.
say to that person, everything is connected to everything else.
We are all connected.
Yes.
In-
When
in- in
directly,
Then it becomes
directly
one breath.
or indirectly.
We are
Yes.
connected.
Right. So one act here
Cause and
causes
effect.
another effect over here.
Cause and
right.
Right.
So look on this. Look on this now. So when you're doing designs, you have to design for what it is that you want.
Purpose.
So if you want sidewalks to be able to walk on,
Yes.
right, and each sidewalk, no matter where it is in the country, must be no less than 36 inches,
Inches wide.
or 48 inches wide. That has to be a constraint that you put in, and then the ecosystem has to fit
Flow
around
around
it.
it.
Right, so all the decisions that you make, all
May-
your rules,
may-
your regulations, your laws, everything has to
Yeah.
preserve that.
But here how you will get the dimensions of the sidewalk, because this really is where the ecosystem gives life to things. If you artificially decide that the sidewalk is 36 inches, but everything that people do in that area requires 48 inches, people are going to be in the street.
Yes.
So this is where
Anyway.
banned
let's
words.
leave that alone.
So this is where the organic movement makes itself felt in an ecosystem. You can't stipulate an ecosystem. I remember reading once, I shared it with you, I've never forgotten reading it in an architectural magazine, that those who design parks,
Right.
Yes.
they watch where people walk
Yes.
and they design the pathways to match where people are going. Because, said the writer, they had seen so many parks where There's a beautifully paved walkway, even if it curves and meanders.
Can't do that.
Yet there's a footpath
That goes elsewhere.
tracking it. Sometimes it's right beside
well
it.
established footpath.
Well-established
Anyway,
footpath.
We're on the break, so
Because
please.
people have a natural thing that them do. We're on the break?
We're on the break, yes. So let's take the break.
All right.
and
Yeah,
then
we'll
we
chat
come
during
back.
the break.
That's it.
Yeah.
We're back.
Here we are in the home stretch.
Oh, yes.
Lower Lawrence, you've done a week as co-host with me. Thank you so much.
I'd like to say I did a strong.
You did a great job.
Not a week, a strong.
Well, okay, so I won't say a week, then I'll say 4 days.
4 days. Oh, it's yes.
It's 4 days.
Unplanned.
Unplanned. And yes, wasn't that something though?
Yes, yes.
Getting an
It was
insight
fun. And I must admit,
into
when
what?
I get excited on discussions like these.
Yes.
Where you challenge people to do new things, to do things that engage other people, to do things that change, that reforms.
Yeah, man, that
I get excited
platform
about
that
these
he's developing, and it can be a serious revenue earner as well,
Yeah.
But the truth is, I think for it to deliver its best value, it needs to be reasonably, very modestly priced.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, persons participating in it, using it. In fact, when it starts, I imagine I would beta test it for free for like 2 years. So your development can be on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would test it. Just get people to use it
Yes.
and work out the kinks. And at that level now, you wouldn't really charge for it. Or it would just be, a token fee to allow them to afford the cost of data protection.
Tell you, 'cause that's a big one.
Because that's a big one coming up. Yeah, I love what JPS is doing. And the truth is, all the utilities should be working in the same spirit. But why were we talking about ecosystem? Because the best ecosystem, the best description of ecosystem is probably the kingdom of God. Because the kingdom of God is a system of government, not a geographic place. It is just the ways things are done, the ways and means to accomplish the purposes of God. And when you know those principles and you apply them, you will find that you're moving in harmony with others.
Yes.
And it is the end game. The end game is for the kingdom of God to replace the kingdom of man, for the rule of God to be asserted or reasserted, because that's how things began. We're moving in a circle. We're going back to the point of origin. I was saying off camera, I'm going to repeat it now and hear what you think. In order for us to remove the blockages that prevent us from allowing the ecosystem to emerge, the main actors, meaning man, need to undergo a change of heart and mind.
Yep.
So I said to Mr. Case that we all need a reconciliation with God, because it is only He, in all the things I hear and what I see, the only time I hear someone say, I was transformed in the twinkling of an eye, my heart was changed, I felt such love, is when they have an encounter with God. That's the only, they go to rehab, they fall down again. They go into counseling and therapy. It's a work in progress. And these days people will say that so-and-so is a recovering addict. He hasn't had a drop of liquor in 20 years, but he's still a recovering addict. And those who suffer from certain addictions will tell you that they are one step away from returning to whatever it is that afflicted them.
Yeah,
But those who say, I found Christ or God redeemed me, you'll hear them say, I never looked at it again. I never touched it again. So,
yeah. Now that, if you go back to the design, as God's design,
yes,
you will know that if what He has put inside of us allows us to engage with Him, so that you can have a perfect relationship.
yes,
Yeah? However, because a lot of us, we're seeking to have that perfect relationship with things external of Him. Yeah? And we feel, because we live in a world where we see, we touch, we feel, and that's what we see reality to be. We're seeking to have that perfect relationship with the physical world. And until you engage in a spiritual way and engage with him, that which he has placed in you, which is designed to give you that perfect relationship, you will always have that problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah? But you see, a lot of us need to first of all understand that yes, it is within you, and this is the way you access it. And he has given you his word, which will lead you to it.
The key is in your heart.
Key, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that is where you have that dissonance.
Well,
you know?
you and I are tasked with a difficult but what a welcome challenge
Yes.
to be a part of the team that helps persons unlock that knowledge that's within them and that ability that is within them. The ability to be healed of your afflictions, your infirmities, the ability to reconnect with the God within you and with others so that you can truly be, a person who loves and honors and respects the environment in which you live in, which includes the people. All right, you know that it's 9:43?
Yep.
Mr. Producer.
Yes, ma'am.
But there's an interesting question from Earl Brown. We're going to close the show attempting to answer this question. Earl says, Mr. Lawrence, Minette Lawrence, what are your thoughts on white person and black face, black people and white mind face on a Black Friday? Would you like me to start?
Yeah, man, sure. Right.
You know me, I always have an idea. Okay, so for a long time, I've been of the view that artistic expression, no matter what it is telling you, artistic expression should be devoid of any kind of racial, political, or, hurtful interpretations and values. I believe that art is just a window through which you see what's going on in the world. Even if it tells a sad story or a shameful story, it's a mirror.
Yeah.
And you have to isolate artistic expression from what people do in their relationships with each other to hurt or to influence each other.
Yes.
So from you say it's a mime face or it's a portrayal of something, for me, that's art. But now, persons will use artistic installations to inflict harmful assault or just wake up rough memories for people. Where they place it and how they use it, to me, the heart behind it is what I would challenge. So if I know that, blackface, whiteface thing in a community that suffers from racial tensions and so on, I wouldn't put it there. I would say, do not do anything that's going to inflict emotional harm on someone, on somebody else. The Apostle Paul tells us, you have your right, you have your freedom of expression, you have your freedom to do various things, but if your exercise of those freedoms would hurt someone else, hold it in.
Yeah, and that's fair.
So, that's my
you have to
my
first
take on it.
understand the motive.
The heart,
for the
yes.
person doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
Because there are some persons who will do things harmlessly.
Right, to entertain
even
or
giving thought
just
to its
or just
impact.
as a commentary
And there are others
Yeah.
who will do it intentionally.
and maliciously.
Now, the receiver is critical in all of this. Because how you receive it will determine how you will react to it. And depending on what the sender is seeking to do, you might give power to that sender. Or you might end up educating that person as to the
impact of what they're
whatever
doing.
they are doing.
Yeah.
So depending on
Yeah.
so you have to look at motive
Yeah.
when you assess these things. These
Yeah.
people, is it truly artistic? Are they really not looking at the negative side of what they are doing?
There's no negative
Or
side to
is
art.
it, no, negative or positive? Well, yeah, but we're saying
No, I put that. Oh,
And-
is there a negative
no,
side to
you are
art?
you are right, because it is an expression.
Yeah,
It
because
is
if
an
you
expression.
had a mime in a museum, that's why I said where you do the installation is critical.
Right.
If you're in a museum, there are museums that pay homage to the people who were killed in the Holocaust.
Right.
There are museums that look at the horror of chattel slavery.
So then the motive
when
is
you place
educational
it,
for
where you
right.
place it will determine, yeah. But in the overall, as I said, culture, art, a display of what's going on in society, we need those commentaries because sometimes you only know how you feel about a thing when it is in a neutral environment and you get to look at it and you say, but Jesus, but this is not right. Like when I was sitting in the tax office and they were using that artificial foreign voice to say, number 245.
Go to
Number? And I'm like, am I in Jamaica or am I in the train station in
And I remember you were
in China, somewhere in China?
Yes, you were giving your version of what they should say.
That is
Number
a
three, go on there, sir.
well, I think that was your version. I would have used a polite Jamaican voice like my own.
I'm sure you would. And then you have said,
But Paula and Porto would use Paula's voice.
yes.
Oh my goodness. It's been a joy this Thursday and these past 4 days with you, my friend, my partner. Thank you so much for stepping up or sitting down, however you want to look at it. Have a great weekend, everyone. And to those who were chatting with us online, those of you who have listened in, to our partner JPS, thank you so much. Lloydie back at the studio. I know we tested your patience today. We seem to have exceeded every parameter for the break. Bless you.
When you get me to try to multitask.
No,
Well,
sir,
you know,
you usually multitask quite
I
well.
want to
but
express my
Thank
own
you.
words of gratitude.
Yes.
Thanks to the listeners for
Yes.
putting up with me.
But what about
You
me?
know, and it's, yes, we have a little glitches along the way. For example, today, despite all of that, we're able to pull it off. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for those who rejoin us.
So what about me for putting up with you?
All right, since you force it out. No. I really appreciate your inviting me to participate with you.
All right, Lowell.
You see, because I know that when I leave
Next
here,
week
it
coming.
don't end right here, so I have to make sure I choose the right words, or else,
No, I'm just creating an excitement for the listeners.
Yes.
No, you're good. You're good with me.
Yeah, man.
You're good with me.
Well,
So,
we really do appreciate it, though.
Yeah.
We really do appreciate it. We really do appreciate the listeners, and please,
to our listeners, old and
we try
new,
to do the best we can each time, and we do appreciate the feedback.
would we just say goodbye?
So-
So long.
No, you see, you give me the mic. If you give me the mic, then I'll speak.
So long. Have a great
All right,
weekend,
folks.
everyone.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.